Dead air.
Well, that was the first thing. I thought you had another thing to say about gift giving. You said that
No.
was the first thing. Yeah. Okay. Ho, 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 wonderful humans. Welcome to Board Game Dads. My name is Anthony,
My name is Eric.
and we are here with the granddaddy of all board game holiday spotlights on the most wonderful time of the year, Christmas. This is part one in a series of videos. Today, our focus is, Eric,
Stocking stuffers.
stuffing those stockings full of games or game adjacent stuff.
Right.
More on that later. But before we get to actual gifts, Eric, what was the stocking situation like for you growing up?
Well, so growing up, me and my brother would come down Christmas morning and wait and wait and wait. And then finally, when we were able to open all the presents, open everything, and then you kind of get that, oh, like there's nothing else to open. Sure, we got a whole bunch of stuff to play with today. Absolutely. We got family here and everything. It's still great. But like as a kid, Christmas is over once you've found out everything that you've gotten for Christmas, unfortunately. But about, we would probably have breakfast relatively soon after opening the presents. And then after breakfast, my dad would bring the stockings over. And the stockings, were only, 2 or 3 feet long and everything and weren't crazy big, but he would stuff them with gifts. And it was like a last hurrah. Like, if there was one action figure or something that we didn't get, maybe he's in there.
A 3-foot stocking is pretty gigantic.
Yeah, maybe I said 2, 3 feet, but I was counting like, if you're the entire amount of space inside the sock.
How much cubic inches are you talking
Right.
about?
But you can't put a bunch of big stuff because it'll just burst at the seams. But it's that's about 2.5 feet. I don't know. As a kid, probably looked like 4 feet anyway.
True.
Anyway, so a lot of the gifts were like deodorant, toothbrushes, dumb stuff like that. But occasionally my dad would get like, a G.I. Joe figure or something, and he would bend the cardboard around it so it would fit in the stocking, not just like the wide action figure thing. Even though he collected the cards on the back, he would still bend them. And that was really cool because that's what we really wanted for Christmas was a whole bunch of new G.I. Joes or whatever action figure to play with. And then once we know, we didn't get this guy, we didn't get this guy. And then, here's a stocking and we get them.
Surprise.
Yeah. So that was always the last ditch effort for fun, new stuff.
That's interesting. For me, it was kind of the opposite. I'm pretty sure we did stockings first as like the appetizer to the gifts.
Yeah, I suppose ours was the dessert.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. And so, yeah, to your point, there was definitely a point where there were like essential items in there, like shampoo or something, or like soap, whatever. But I do remember getting a good amount of scratch off lottery tickets in my stockings very often.
When you were like 7?
I don't know about 7. Did you get did you get deodorant when you were 7?
Oh, I don't know. But I didn't get scratch off lottery tickets. Sounds like 18.
Oh, what? No way. I definitely got them before that.
Yeah, maybe I'm
Yeah.
wrong. They were always more in the card.
True. And other than that, yeah, I don't know, maybe like some candy or something, or
Right.
a little. I guess they're probably. I don't have a specific instance, but I'm sure there was some point where there was something in the stocking that was like a small part of a bigger gift.
Like a
That
precursor, like a Game Boy game. And you're like, well, what
Yeah.
am I going to do with this stupid thing?
Yeah. Exactly. So fast forwarding to the present, I think my son AJ's stocking this year will probably be filled mostly with toy cars. And I'm not sure about Gabriella. She'll probably get like some teething stuff or something weird like that. How about you? You got something planned for the kiddos?
We don't. We actually, our big plan this year is to get 4 nice stockings with
Mm.
all of us, all of our names, all the same kind of stocking, and have either Melissa like do something on the cricket and put our names on them, or sew something in. Not really sure, but like we have stockings, but we don't have like a nice set of 4 stockings. So that's going to be our big thing this year, because we'll probably fill up something for Zoe, especially if we get her a stocking, and then fill that up for her. But Logan, he's going to be 6.5 months old. Like he doesn't need a stocking.
Do your pets have stockings?
They do.
Nice.
Yep. But we can't really put anything in there for them, because if they smell it overnight, then they'll just, like, especially if it's food, the cat or the dog might come in there and start trying to get at it.
So, in the midst of probably some holiday shopping, I'm assuming that you did get to play at least a little bit of games in the last couple of weeks.
I haven't really been able to get that many games to the table
All right,
recently,
all right.
but I did want to talk briefly about a new Kickstarter we just got, this game Canopy.
Mm-hmm.
So my wife backed this, and I don't know much about it other than that it's got a whole bunch of different types of animals on cards. There's also some meeples and I don't know, a little bit of other stuff. But it's a pretty small box, not going to fit in a stocking, but it's still a really just look at the art, and here's the art on the back. And not only this, she also
Mm.
got it came with a puzzle. So she backed it, and she also, whatever pledge level she hit, she also hit the like the jigsaw puzzle. So she's going to
Nice.
be enjoying that.
Yeah, animals is right up your alley for a theme, that's for
Y-
sure.
I'll tell you, I remember when it came out, I maybe looked at it briefly and was like, "Oh, cool, there's animals," and then kind of forgot about it.
Mm.
And so I don't know anything about this game. I haven't even really looked at it yet. So that's all I know is what I just said.
Fair.
But yeah, it does look great. What about you?
So I played a game off of my shelf of, I'm not going to say shame for this reason. This is a game from 2021, so it's still, I know it's almost the end of the year, but it's not like I've owned it for years and years and years. It's called the Whatnot Cabinet, with artwork by Beth Sobel. This is a tile placement sort of game, but your individual board, and you're basically collecting these different types of little knick-knack things. There could be shells or little bottles or little animal statues and things like that. Trying to get some patterns to score in different ways. It had a feel kind of similar to Sagrada,
Okay.
but not as restrictive in terms of placement rules and things like that. But pretty fun, very quick, and enjoyed that quite a bit. Very nice artwork, of course.
Nice. I,
You had a correction to something you
I
wanted to
did. I
mention,
wanted
right?
to talk about. So I think I don't know which video it was. We talked about recently. I talked about how we just got the game Floriferous, and looks great and everything. We played it, and it didn't work for us for 2 players. We were playing it wrong. Now we haven't played it correctly yet, but it's gonna be a slightly different, better game when we play it the next time. So what we were doing is there's 2 rows of cards that
Right.
are flower, and then on the bottom row there's scoring cards. We were playing as though we could only move our meeples to one of the 2 rows of flower cards, but really you have a choice of one of those 2 rows or the bottom row, which is the scoring card. And then at the end
Right.
of the game, we each used every single scoring card to score, a whole bunch of points. We got like some crazy score that I'm sure we'll never ever get higher than the next time we play. Um, but yeah, we did mess that one up a little bit, and so we're definitely going to get that one back to the table soon.
We're coming down to the wire on 2021, as I mentioned already, but specifically we're doing a 10 by 10 challenge
Right.
where we have to get 100 games played, 10 of each of 10 games. And so we're coming down to the wire on that. So we played back-to-back games of Downfall of Pompeii a
Oh,
couple nights
nice.
ago. And I am happy to say that I am leading the way in that category. I'm peeking over at my score sheet here. So Lauren won the first game that we played of Pompeii, and I've won the next 6.
Nice.
Yeah, so I went 2 in a row last night. A game that I had no idea about. You turned me onto this game a few years back, and it's been a favorite of ours ever since.
Yeah, we love this game. Sometimes teaching it, the rules can be a little clunky because you have like two halves of the game. The first half where you try to play out cards, but not all of your cards, and trying to multiply and get the maximum amount of your meeples out before the second half of the game where you're trying to get out of there and kill everybody else with lava. And it's really cool. One of my favorite games recently, I think, our boy Evan, he posted something where he got like this on his table. I don't know if this was the main part of it, but on his table he had like this cool lava like mat out. And I was like, oh man, you got to play Downfall of Pompeii on that. And I don't think he's played that one, so maybe this
Mm.
will give him a little push. Let's just get it for one of your family members for Christmas and learn how to play it. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, my one complaint about that game is the setup is annoying with the not
Yeah,
even like there's not a lot to it, but building the deck is a little tedious.
it's
Um,
kind of a pain.
yeah, yeah, but definitely worth it. It's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
All right. Anything else on the table, or do you want to start moving into the stocking?
Let's talk about some Christmas gift giving.
All right, all right. So,
So, wait,
in
wait, wait,
general,
before we
go ahead.
go any further,
Yes.
everybody is always saying, "Oh, it's better to give than it is to receive," and it is. But it's awesome receiving great gifts. Like, so sometimes you get that gift and you know that this person's gonna love it, and that's a great feeling. But getting something that you didn't know was coming and you love it and it's just, oh my God, what an amazing gift. That's a pretty awesome feeling too. So as much as we don't want to admit that sometimes the getting is a little bit better than the giving, they're at least 50-50 most of the time.
But if you're fortunate enough to be in a relationship with someone who is also a board game enthusiast, a lot of those gifts kind of count. It just kind of goes both ways, you know?
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I feel bad sometimes, right? Because it's like, oh, here's a gift. Here's a board game that we can play. It's not for you. It's for us. And sometimes it's a game that I know my wife really wanted, so I got it. And sometimes it's like I think she would really like this game,
Right,
but
right,
it
right.
just feels like here's a game, here's a gift for us, not just for you. And so that I guess that kind of takes a little bit of it away sometimes. So I try to
Yeah.
get specific things for her, or just way too much stuff.
Right. I think as long as it's not the only thing, then
Right.
it's fine.
But I have, because there's always a lot of sales come Christmas time. So I'll get a few games and I'll just be like, oh, just wrap it up and give it to Melissa. Like I bought it for us. I saw this game, it was on sale. I was like, oh man, we're going to love this. I just wrap it up and give it to her.
Or you get some fortunate timing, you get a Kickstarter delivered right before Christmas.
That's what I was going to do with Floriferous, but I had no patience. And so I just gave it to her. We opened it and played it.
Nice.
All right. So stocking stuffers,
Yes, sir.
right? Okay. So the first rule of gift giving in general, not even just stocking stuffers, is if possible, stick to the list. Because board gamers, I mean, I could be wrong, and I would love to hear in the comments below if I am. We have particular tastes, and there's hundreds of or thousands of games that come out every year, and I'm going to get, I don't know, 20 of them. And I have to choose which game, so when I
You're gonna
see
get
like a new
20
game,
games for Christmas?
no, throughout the year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like
Say, man.
every year we'll probably buy about 20 games, maybe more. But in general, that amount. There's been years past where, I mean, we have 500 games every year. So it's not 20 games a year, obviously. But now that we have two kids and our gaming time has slowed down a lot, it's not as much go out and buy.
Right.
We want to get the game that we think we're going to enjoy. So I can be very, very nitpicky about games when I see a game and oh man, this game's all the rage. Be like, oh, okay, let's see. Ooh, $80, strike one. Oh, it's gonna take 2 hours for a two-player game. Just go to the next video.
Yeah.
But you gotta have unless you're just like, I'll take anything and I'll play it, and that's awesome.
Right.
That's not me. That's not my wife. I don't think it's you. We don't have that amount of space that it's you really want to get something that they're going to like. And
Right.
like I said, if there's a list, stick to it.
All right. So into some picks then.
Sure.
Okay. All right. So a couple of my picks are very generic in nature, but the first one really does go off of what you just said, which is getting something for someone that you know they're going to like can be tough. But if you know a few games that someone really likes, you can probably get them an expansion to that game. Not every game has expansions, but
Right.
some games have multiple expansions. And again, if someone really likes a game, they're most likely going to want everything that comes with that game, even if it's in the future. So
Right.
if you know someone's favorite game or games that you really like, keep an eye out for some expansions. Obviously, try to pay attention to if that person has those already.
Right.
But
So I was
a lot
actually
of
going to
times
bring
there's
up
multiple ones.
if it's really helpful as a gamer to keep your collection on Board Game Geek up to date. Now, I've bought games for you before, and I'll always go to your collection and I'll look through everything that you have and I'll see if there's anything. I'll be like, oh, I want to get them this game, but I don't know if he has that. Now, yours is not up to date so much.
I
Um,
just updated a couple days ago, actually.
oh, all right, nice.
Yeah, so
My
it's still
brother as
fresh.
well, I can go on there and see what kind of games he has. And, that way I don't get him something that he already has. And so it's it's helpful. So one thing to be cognizant about when you're buying an expansion for a game is not only if their board game especially if it's somebody's favorite game, you got to check their collection to see if they don't have this expansion. And if they don't, it might not fit inside of a stocking. The ones
Right.
that do are great, but not all of them are gonna fit inside a small stocking. You can put like a treasure map in there and then hide the game somewhere throughout the house, and then they have to run around and find it. I've done that. I've done that for Easter and St. Patrick's Day for my wife. All right. So gaming accessories is another thing that you can kind of get and give to somebody, put it in their stocking. These are things that if they like a game, they probably don't have a lot of accessories for it. Maybe they'll have all the content, but specifically what I'm thinking is like a game mat, like the role player game mat, and we have a game mat for this game, Fuji Koro, and they're really nice. And it replaces the board, which is fine. The board looks great, but the game mats look awesome. Or there is no board, like in cartographers, and it just gives you a nice,
Right, right. Yeah,
yeah,
a lot of card games have a mat that just is like
yep.
a place to put the cards. It's not really a board, but it still looks
That's
cool.
so you can roll those up. That might take up most of the leg, but
Yeah.
it'll fit. It will fit.
All right. So on sort of the same track with an accessory of sorts. And again, this is kind of specific if you know someone's taste. Now, we're both big fans, and our wives are too, of the roll and write genre, the flip and write genre of games. And I think a good stocking stuffer could be a nice fresh set of new colored pencils, and or I will say there's some that are erasable. So that's kind of a neat gift, something you might not buy yourself, erasable color pencils, but also some nice dry erase markers for if
Hmm.
you have laminated boards, or a lot of games do come with a dry erase, board that you're actually writing on, or cards that you're writing on as well. So some nice fine tip dry erase markers or new colored pencils snazz up your game.
Do they make colored mechanical pencils,
Hmm.
or is it just you can only get a colored pencil in pencil form?
That's
That
a
would be
great
interesting.
question. I
Yeah.
don't know if I've ever seen
Let us know in the
mechanical.
comments below.
Yeah.
All right,
Ah,
moving on.
moving on.
All right, so I got now these next two are kind of dumb, so I'm just gonna gloss over them real quickly. But board game art,
Yeah.
not everybody's gonna want to put like a picture of like I don't know the Carcassonne or something like that, or maybe even when you like complete the map in Seventh Continent, you take a picture of it on a nice
Mhm.
background. You could put something like that, or just buy like somebody that does like weird kind of art. There's a lot of calendars out there with like component
Yeah,
art and stuff like that. That would look pretty cool. Not art is also just like board games, but more so. Everybody's got their own kind of taste, and so buying artwork for somebody else is kind of like, here, put this on your wall, but I don't like it.
sure, sure.
So you can you can swing and miss pretty easily on that. And then the other one, now this one, if somebody paints minis,
Okay.
and you know what kind of paints they use, get them some paints,
Mm,
right? 'Cause eventually they're gonna run out of like black and some of these more common colors. I assume gray, red, blue, maybe. Um,
or even
but if you don't
like a
know what,
primer or like a I
like
forget
the
what
little
they call it.
bottles of paint
Yeah.
that they get, like if they use a specific brand, you want to try and get that. But if you don't know what they use, then you can just go out and buy like the most expensive one and be like, oh, hey, I got you these really expensive paints. You just wrap them all up, drop them in a stocking. And if they don't like
To
them, they
go
can always return them.
to go back to the artwork thing for a minute. So again, this is a size thing as well, right? Obviously,
Right.
if it's a stocking thing, it's going to be kind of smaller. But I think to your point
I
about
meant like
giving
rolled up, not like framed.
right, so like a poster or something. But
Right.
to your point about not knowing if that person might want to actually display that thing, the smaller the better, right?
Right.
For that, a safer bet. Like you can get some pretty cool little 5x7 or little postcard size pieces of artwork as well.
Yeah.
All right,
Indeed.
my next thing is a line of games, not a specific game. I'm talking about the wallet-sized games, specifically from Button Shy. They have a ton of them now, but there's some other companies that make them as well. But they essentially just fold up in a little wallet with two little pouches, have a bunch of cards in them. They're all the same size, and they usually have like 18 cards, maybe a little more if there's like an
Hmm.
expansion or something like that. I'm thinking specifically of Sprawlopolis, which is a cool cooperative city building card game,
Yeah.
where you'll have a couple of scoring objectives out front, and you're just trying to get the best score possible. It is not easy to do well in that game, but that's just one. They have so many now, and every year they come out
Are,
with more.
are those micro games or micro games like those tiny little ones that come in the other box? I forget what they're actually called.
Wallet sized.
Okay. All right. I have a couple game upgrades ideas.
Okay.
So one of them, and this isn't my idea. I was having this kind of idea, but then I saw somebody else do it on Instagram. And I was like, oh, let's put the two. So we own the game Winter Carcassonne, and anybody that does knows it's one of the best versions of Carcassonne. So someone on Instagram went out and got little Santa Claus meeples and little Frosty the Snowman meeples, and put the so now when you play a two-player game, you're not just using, we already replaced them with like Christmassy colors. So whatever colors that came with the game, we've replaced with red and green and maybe silver and gold. I'm not really sure, but Santa Claus and Snowman meeples for Christmas as a stocking stuffer, great idea.
Yeah, I like that.
And then the other one was, I have them all written down over here. Oh, like a game insert. So you'd have to find a specific game that somebody
Yeah.
likes a lot that's got a lot of content. I was thinking of getting one for my wife. I'm not going to, so I can talk about it. For Dinosaur World, and it would fit the base game and all three of the expansions, which we have, and we have the upgraded components. But when you close the box, it doesn't close. It's like this much space before
Uh,
the, and so I don't know that we want that. We might just keep everything in one of the expansion boxes.
will that fit in a stocking? Oh, because it's folded pretty much, right? It's like flat when you buy
Well,
it.
I haven't bought one of the one, but you basically build it. So
Yeah.
you have to like, well, some of them they're all different really, but like some of them come in like little pieces of wood I think it comes in maybe like a card box size, and then you just kind of put it
Right.
together. But I could be wrong, and then somebody could let me know that that's not going to fit inside of a stocking.
All right. How many
Uh,
more you got?
I just got a few games, a few small box games.
Okay. All right. So I got one more non-game specific one, and this is we did a video once where we talked about some quirky start player rules, and a lot of times, and Eric, I think you said this specifically in that video, if it was your first time playing that game, you would determine first player by whatever the rule book says,
Yep.
however, bizarre it might be. But after that, usually just roll a die to see who goes first. And to
Hmm.
be honest, 90% of the time when we're playing a game at our house, we just roll a die to see who goes first. It's fun to roll a d20 though, in my opinion. So
Yeah.
I think a cool stocking stuffer would be get someone a d20 that's, a larger one, larger than your normal die size. It can be pretty, solid. There's some heavy ones, but there's some lighter ones too.
I
Just
would
they usually
definitely suggest getting a metal one. I mean,
a
if you're
metal
going to
one.
roll it inside like a dice tray or something, if you're going to roll it out on the table and like a giant metal one is going to tip the table, and just get a
Yeah,
plastic. The
yeah,
foam
yeah.
ones.
The foam ones are cool, but they bounce around so much.
Yeah.
Like it depends on the game. If we set up a game, we're like, okay, let's roll to see who goes first. Be like, don't roll over here by the stuff, please. Roll over there. So yeah, that's my last not actual game suggestion. Get someone a nice big D20.
All right. So I'm going to list off a couple of games here,
All right.
and they're not Christmas themed or anything like that. They're just small enough to fit inside a stocking. And I've played them, or I own them, or both, and I like them. So Deep Sea Adventure is
Mm,
the box is like this big. It's a cute game where you're all kind of trying to go as far down into the ocean to get the best treasures as possible. Then you got to bring them all the way up. But everybody else on the ship is doing it on the submarine is doing the same thing. And what happens most of the time is everybody runs out of oxygen. Nobody gets nothing. But it's fun and it's tiny. And then
It
another
makes
game
for
you
some good back and forth, that game
it
for
does.
sure.
And you had mentioned rolling rights before and flipping rights, and silver and gold is a really good flipping right that is in a really small box. Out of all the flip slash rolling rights that I own, I think it was the second smallest. The first smallest was
It
not
is
good
pretty
enough to
small.
make this list.
What was it?
Ah, now I don't want to throw shade on the game.
Oh, okay. Tell me afterwards.
You got it.
All right. One of mine is definitely roll and rights as well. I'll just name a couple because I like a whole bunch of them, but there's a bunch from Game Right that come in a nice little flip box with the magnetic lid, and those are easy to transport, easy to teach, travel well, which is the same thing as transport. You got Quicks, Bloom, the one with the flowers. You also have Quinto, which is not Game Right, but also about the same size. And what else is over there?
Isn't there another
Rolling
QW
America.
game?
Yeah, there's more than
Quantum, I think.
there's one with fruit, I think. So that's Quingo. I think there's one called
Hmm,
Quingo. But yeah, rolling rights from Game Right. Put them in a stocking.
nice. I got two more, and then I
All right.
got one final one. So there's a game called Bottom of the Ninth, which is a little baseball game. It's a
Yeah.
two-player game. It's got a little bit of real time. It's got a little bit of trying to guess what your opponent's going to throw and where they're expecting you to throw, and you're the batter, and you just play out the bottom of the ninth pitch by pitch. It's fun. And the other game was so Deckscape is my favorite, and I've talked about Deckscape before. But
Yeah.
Deckscape and Unlock, the exit games I don't think would fit well inside your average stocking, but Deckscape and Unlock would.
Mm.
And so you can get any of them. And again, if you keep your BGG list up to date, then I know which ones you have and have played, and then I can get you a different one. But yeah, those are a ton of fun.
For sure.
All right, what do you got left?
What I got left, I'm scratching here to get another one.
Oh, all right, so then I'll just tell you my final one.
Yeah, go ahead.
And we're going to talk about this at some point in the next 3 weeks. But final one is Letters to Santa. It's the love letter, but the Christmas version of it. It's so tiny. It comes in a little red pouch like Santa's toy bag, and it's just cool. And it's a great gift, and it's a quick game. You can literally they can open it and be like, "Oh, what is this? Oh, it's a game." Teach them how to play. Play through
Mhm.
2 games of it in 10 minutes. And
Yeah,
yeah, so that's my main Christmas stocking stuffer gift idea.
and there's enough versions of that game that you can get a different one for
No,
someone
you
if.
have to get the Christmas one.
Yeah.
No, you can get them whenever you want.
All right, folks, we're going to start wrapping it up here. Speaking of wrapping, Eric, we
Yes,
have other Christmas videos coming up
yeah, we do.
in no particular order. You will hear us talk about some reskins of games. We will also get to our favorite intellectual property games, IP games, as they say, and then some straight up, these are games about Christmas.
These are our favorite games about
Yeah,
Christmas.
yeah, and that'll be
So
the last one,
yeah,
probably,
hopefully
hopefully.
we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
And then listen, folks, the year is over, but doesn't mean that the content is ending. We're very
Mm-mm.
excited here, and we're coming up on basically the 1 year anniversary of the channel. To be honest, last Christmas season was when I made the first couple of videos about gift giving. So check those out as well. Go back; they're still
Mhm.
relevant now. I would say,
Yeah,
hey, you
watch
like
watch Anthony wear all his silly hats.
that's right. That's right. I did have a different hat
Yeah,
just for
you
you.
did.
So we're very excited. Stay tuned, and obviously in the comments, let us know favorite stocking stuffers you got maybe when you were younger, favorite ones to give now, any suggestions for gamers, non-gamers. What do you like to put in your stocking? We want to hear your traditions. Let us know.
And we want to know if there's colored mechanical pencils.
Yes, somebody get on that.
Also, I just want to say, even though we haven't actually talked about this, I'm just going to throw it out there, and then we have to do it. Our first video after the Christmas season
Hmm.
is going to be our top 10 list or something of the sort of all the games from 2021. So it's going to be our year end. Here's what we played in 2021. Best of.
Got it. I'll start working on my list.
Yeah, I put it off.
We'll do it the night before, just like homework.
Yep. I probably only played like 10 or 15 games that came out in 2021 anyway, so it shouldn't be that difficult.
Mm, mm. I think I definitely played more games that came out this year than I have in past years, though, to be honest.
Right. You went to Dice Tower
Yeah.
Retreat. You probably
Yeah.
got to play a whole bunch of cool stuff there.
Well, folks, enough rambling. We will see you next week for some more holiday cheer. Until then, my name is Anthony,
My name is Eric.
and we're the Board Game Dads. We'll see you next time.
See ya.